Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.
What's going on, Cancer? This is Boss Roy here with your reading for the month of August. All right, guys, let's get started with your reading. So I pulled from the Pocket Animal Spirit deck just to gauge your energy for this month. So let's get started. So I pulled first, I got the butterfly. Okay. I got the shark. And I got the panther. Okay. So first thing first, Cancer, you're protecting your butterfly energy. Okay. It could be somebody in your environment that's going through transformations. When it came down to, dealing with people in their environment, could be family situations, could be work situations. You're in a place where you're that listening ear. Okay. Cat energy always has that intuitive type of energy. You're always like in a place where it's like with this person, you're their protection, you're their nurturing type of space. Because Cancers, you guys have that nurturing energy, and you guys are very defensive when it comes down to your home environment. Okay, this shark energy could be trying to circle around that butterfly energy, trying to bring out past emotions. Okay, so this person could have came from an emotionally abusive type background. That water energy, and I'm looking at that shark energy, it's going back and forth. Okay, I'm getting a whole back and forth type of dynamic. Okay, this person could call your your butterfly from in the morning and the night. It's the same type of rhetoric. Okay, they're trying to get them to argue with them constantly, and they're trying to change. They're trying to not go about that process with them the same type of manner. They're looking to still savage the relationship between this shark type of dynamic. It should be, like I said, work relationship, could be family dynamics as well. They're trying to find a way to transform this interaction. Okay, but you, Cancer, you having enough. Okay, you like, look here. Okay, shark, you're doing too much. Okay, and I believe that in this month you're going to come to your wits end, Cancer. I think you've been taking a back seat behind this all. Okay, I think you've sort of been I get the feeling like you're sort of lurking in the shadows, like, okay, I'm trying not to say nothing, I'm trying to let butterfly handle this. Okay, that's his crazy dad, that's his crazy mom, that's his crazy sister. Okay, that's her crazy mom, that's her crazy dad, that's her crazy brother, our crazy bosses. You've just been taking a back seat. You're like, okay, I'm gonna let butterfly handle this. But I believe this person is getting more and more comfortable, okay, to get into your environment, okay, your home environment. And one thing about it is you don't want to go into a Cancer's home environment, okay, dealing with what belongs to them, okay, with a type of nagging, crazy, chaotic energy, okay. And I believe this shark is giving that chaotic, unhinged type of energy. And guess what? They're going to be met with fire, okay? Because the panther has that fire energy, okay? They're not ready for the tongue lashing they're going to get from you, okay? Because, like I said, the butterfly, they're trying to get understanding. You already see the mess. You already see the mess, and I think you're going to call a spade a spade. You're going to call the mess out, okay? And I believe that shark is going to clearly disperse into a whole nother water, okay? Away from you, okay? Because like I said, one thing about it is I think you're going to say it to this butterfly energy. You're going to say, okay, honey, I understand that you're trying to handle things from a different level, but you have to come to some situations and say, hey, you know what? Let me stand up for myself. And I think you're in the space where it's like this person probably went over the top when it came down to standing up for themselves, and it was sort of like irate. But you're like, no, you can still be firm, okay? And I think that's that panther energy. Okay, who wants to play with the panther? Nobody. I don't. Okay, you're in a space where it's like, oh no, you can still stand up for yourself. You can still, tell the person where they need to go, okay? But you can still have that, like I said, that positive energy around you, that new type of energy where it's like, okay, you know what? You're not handling it from that toxic perspective, but you still have your boundaries. And I think that's something that you're going to share with your butterfly person. Like I said, could be a friend, could be a family member, could be a coworker. Then you're like, you need to stand up for yourself, okay? You need to stand up for yourself, because one thing about it is, Cancer, you're not putting on that maternal role where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm just like going to hover over my person. You're telling them like, okay, these are the keys that you need to have from going into these different environments, okay? Yes, you want to see this from a new type of angle, but at the end of the day, you're still dealing with a shark, okay? You're letting your person know that, okay, like I said, it may be good, but that butterfly theory is great. You're transforming. That's understandable. You're still dealing with your toxic, sharp relatives, co-workers, friends. So you need to handle them effectively. Okay. You basically you checking both of them, Cancer. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, you're checking the shark, okay, right at the gate, okay. But behind closed doors, you're also gonna sort of slightly check that butterfly. Okay. You're gonna let them know, okay, yeah, you know what? I understand that you're in this new space, this new mentality, but you need to also be aware as far as what you got dealing with, okay? Especially if you're dealing with a toxic environment that's, like I said, dealing with a lot of emotional manipulation, okay? And this person, like I said, sometimes when you have someone that's dealing with like a lot of emotional, sometimes when you're dealing with someone that has dealt with a lot of emotional manipulative behavior in the past, they can kind of like, get sort of like standoffish, okay? They don't want to really touch on the deep dive with emotions, okay? You're telling them, okay, you know what? Emotions in life, that's normal, okay? Cancer, you know all about emotions, okay? You're ruled by that moon type of energy. You know how to deal with that type of energy that's coming towards you on a daily basis, okay? You know how to process your emotions. That's what I'm looking for. You know how to process, like I said, the positive and the negative. And you're teaching this person, okay, yeah, you may see things from an air perspective, but you also need to see things and process things from an emotional perspective as well. Okay, you need to utilize, that feeling that you have inside of you and know how to communicate effectively, but also having that fire energy and that strength to stand firm in your truth. This is some of the new lessons that you're giving that butterfly person in your life. Okay, let's get more clarity. Let's go into your fairy oracle deck. The poet, nickel and knuckle. Let's check some more. She of the crotch. The singer intuition. One more here. Okay. Owl the parrot. Okay, yes. Let's get started. So this energy like I said, that butterfly energy. This sort of like in the place where it's sort of like secluded from a lot of things. You're trying to cheer it up. Okay, you got Michael and Michael here. Okay, you bring in that smile for this person. Okay, they like your energy. They like being around you. You guys have a healthy friendship, healthy relationship, healthy work dynamics. They look at you as far as like having that that emotional stability. Okay, it's an understanding that you two have with each other. Okay, the butterfly and the panther, you guys have a deep understanding when it comes down to like just seeing things from just like a practical level, but also like I said, you get to highlight each other's strengths, and you also understand each other's weaknesses, but you know how to work and grow in those weaknesses as well. You're not just enabling each other to just sort of stay stagnant. You're giving a place where you're able to say, okay, she had a process, that understanding, and also the singer intuition. You're in a place where it's like you're giving that healthy energy to understand what's going on emotionally and also what's going on a mental level as well. Okay, this is healing energy. Okay, you're telling this person it's time to use your voice. I rather parrot. Okay, you need to use your voice. You're doing it in a way, like I said before, that panther energy. One thing about it is, so Cancer, you know when to put on this, but you also know when to put on the gentle approach as well, which is sheer the intuition as well, that maternal approach where it's like, okay, you know what, let's talk. Okay, let's have a happy conversation and let's talk about some things. Okay, like you know when to bring down the seriousness with your partner. Okay, and you know when to say, hey, you know what, you're going through all of this because you're not communicating effectively. I want you to be okay, but at the end of the day, you can't just allow these wounded, sharp people around you just to wreak havoc in your life. Okay, nothing's wrong with changing. Okay, but like I said, change does not mean not using your voice. You have to go about using your voice and make sure that you set the right proper boundaries. That's essential. Okay, and that's a wonderful thing, Cancer. Like I said before, I like that energy because I know Cancer. Y'all can get with it. Y'all can get with it, but I like the duality in you where you're able to sort of like pull back and still have that smiling, kind, lovable energy that you give to those around you as well. Let's pull some tarot cards as well, and we will close. Let's see here. Queen of Wands. Yes. Let's see here. Wheel of Fortune. Yes. Okay. Knight of Swords. Full card. All right. Sister Cups. Okay. So I'll pull one more here. All right. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. All right. Let's get started. So, like I said, you have this confidence. Like I said, you see, it's still this Panther energy, this Queen of Wands. It has it, but like I said, it has it in a regal direction. You see that cat? Has the cat right in the card. You know when to turn from this to this. Male or female energy, it's the energy that's being embodied here. So you know when to go from this to that maternal energy, that loving energy. Okay. Like I said before, you know when to say, okay, it's time to like give a sunflower to beg. Okay. Time to like, get that listening ear because you're telling them, okay, you know what? Using your voice is going to have you in the right, proper direction. You're going to have that Wheel of Fortune opportunity when you're able to use your voice effectively. Okay. And guess what? They may not, they may be sick when you use it, but guess what? It is what it is. Because like I said before, I believe this energy was bringing a whole lot of emotional manipulation to your person. Okay. I believe they were doing a whole lot of things just to trigger them. But when they realized this ain't going to work, okay, the Cancer called me out. The Panther called me out. Oh, they're going to be sick. They crying about it. Not a Swords. They crying about it. Okay. But guess what? This puts you guys both, okay, the Panther and the Butterfly on the new beginning. Okay, because this is the new beginning with understanding what works in our dynamics and what does not work. Okay, what we're gonna allow in our home and what we're not gonna allow. Okay, because if someone has to get a hotel, okay, across the street to keep it moving, okay, that's where they will stay. Okay, some of you guys probably have some crazy in-laws where you're like, okay, we need some boundaries up in here because this is not working. Okay, every time you come here from any type of situation, from a family event or just to say hello, you bringing in stress. Okay, you bringing in that shark energy. You're like, absolutely not doing it because you're telling them straight up Cancer. And like I said, I believe your butterfly is going to tell them as well. This is the learning lesson. I think this is coming from the butterfly perspective. They're finally able to have that conversation. Okay, they're going to tell them it's like, okay, either we can rebuild our interaction. Okay, Six of Cups, we can either rebuild or we can leave this alone. We're not going to work on it. And that's the truth of the matter. They're like, okay, let's be healthy. Okay, I'm working on my inner child. You're working on being a responsible adult. Okay, with the flowers and the wonderful treats along the way. Or you know what? You can keep on moving. Okay, stay in hermit mode. Saying it's Nine of Swords. Don't come to me crying about things. Oh well, you know what's going on. Like you trying to split the narrative and everything. You're like, oh, absolutely not. Your butterfly is telling them it's either this way or the highway. Okay. All right, Cancer, this is your reader for the month of August. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Have a great week.
Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.